Hey everybody, welcome to this month's DIY Crafternoon. And this month, I'm super excited. We are doing the Ombre rain chains. I hope you were one of the people who was lucky enough to get a kit. They went pretty fast. So in your kit that you would have gotten here, or if you want to do this at home on your own, what you need is you're going to need 8 feet. I gave you 8 feet of, they call this like chandelier chain. I bought it online, but I think you can also get it at like Menards, maybe like Home Depot. But you need 8 feet of this. And then you're going to section it out into 11 equal sections. And what I did is I did 6 links between each, and it turned out really good. So you might have some chain left over. Then the next thing you're going to need, and what you would have gotten in your kit, are these little tiny links. You're going to need 10 of those. Those you could also buy at like Home Depot, Lowe's, etc. Then you're going to have 10 little pots. So I believe these are a 2-inch terracotta pot. I bought these in bulk on Amazon, and they weren't super cheap, but they weren't crazy expensive. And then in your kit, you would have gotten paint. So you would have either gotten blue or green, and then a little container of black and a little container of white paint. And the things that you will need to supply on your own are pliers. So, and also a paintbrush. So what I did is I have a couple of different types of pliers here. I have like industrial pliers. And then I also have some of my jewelry making pliers as well. So I did kind of a combination of the big wire, the big pliers and the small pliers to pry apart my chain like this. And then I found that the little jewelry pliers worked really well to get the little chains apart. So your first step is going to be to paint your pots. So in order to make them ombre, if you want to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to take your paint, your base paint, so it would be either green or blue if you got the kit, and then you're going to add a little black paint to get the darkest color in your ombre. And then from there on, you're going to add white paint to get your lighter colors all the way down to your lightest. And then I did 2 coats on mine. You can see how they look when you do 1 or 2 coats. And what I haven't done yet, but I would highly recommend, is to also then put a sealer on them. Now you could use like a waterproof Mod Podge. You could do a sealer spray, a waterproof outdoor sealer spray, which is what I would recommend. You can buy that at Home Depot. You can buy it at Michael's. Just because if it's going to be outside, the paint's going to come off. But if you seal it, it'll be good. So once you have painted your pots and let them dry, then you can start assembling your chain. So as I said before, you should have 8 feet of chain, and I divided mine into 6 links. That's what I decided on doing. That made it as even as possible. So in order to pry them apart, that's going to be the hardest part. I had to discard a number of links in order to pry them apart because they didn't look very nice after I pried them apart. But you're going to take 1 set of pliers and hold it, and then you're going to take another set, and you're going to, I don't want to demonstrate it because I don't want to ruin this one, but you're going to hold it and you're going to pry them apart. Okay? Enough so that you can get the chain out. Okay? And then you're going to just close them back together. So pry them apart, get the chain out, and then pry them, close them back together. Okay, so then once you have your, let's see, how many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sections, you can start assembling. So what I did is I started from the top. So the rain chain's going to hang like this, and your little pots are going to face upwards so that when you hang it, the rain flows into here and then pours over and flows into the next one, and so on and so forth. Okay. So onto your chain piece, you're going to take the small chain. And again, you pry these apart the same way as you pry apart the large chain. Whoop. Okay. And then you're going to hook it onto the chain and you're going to close it. So same way you pried it apart, you're going to push it right back together. So hold on to it from one side and then twist with the other pliers. Okay. Now, in order to get it through your little pot, I make it straight so that it goes right through the hole in the bottom of the pot, or relatively straight. So once you have your little link straightened out, you're going to take your pot upside down and you're going to push it through the hole in the bottom. Like so. See? So you're kind of doing it upside down when you're assembling it, so that it's just easier to do it that way. So it's kind of upside down when you're assembling it, and then right side up. They'll be up. Okay, so then you're going to take your next set of chain and you're going to put it around, and you're going to take the little chain and put it around this next section of chain. So what I do is I hold it with kind of my bigger pliers right at the base of the pot. And then I take my other pliers and I wrap it around. This can be a little tricky and you have to be really careful because obviously terracotta pots can break. So this one is just a little bit trickier to get closed. So just be really gentle and careful. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to make sure that the big chain is not going to fall out of the small chain and you've got a good seal. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's pretty good. Not going to fall out. All right, so here is how it connects on the inside. If you can see down there in the bottom, how the hook that we made before we put the little chain through the hole in the pot. See how it keeps it stable there. And then here's the hook on the other end, where we've twisted it around the chain to make a good closure so that the chain won't slip out when it's hanging. So the little link acts as a way for this chain to hang, but also like not come apart. Okay, so then I'm going to repeat that instruction again with my last pot. So now I'm going to take my last link and pull it apart. Sometimes you have to do a little, or I do have to do a little moving around of my pliers here. Okay, now we're going to close it back up around that chain. Straighten this part out. Whoops. Maybe. Ah. Okay, so if you guys just saw what happened, this went through my chain link that I had opened up, so I'm going to try and get that closer together. So we don't want that to happen. So that's something that's a little tricky with this chain, is that you really have to close it. Whoops. You really have to. It's a pain. This is it's the little tedious. It's very tedious. You really have to get it nice and closed. Okay. Let's try it from the other way. Better. Okay. So now I'm going to straighten that out so we can get it through our pot. It's loud. This is a loud craft too, by the way. And like once you get in your groove, it goes fast, but it took me a while to like get into the groove for opening and closing all the chain. So just be patient, and you really are going to get an arm workout because some of the chain, it's a little tough. All right, so okay. All right, so I've got my little chain pushed through. My last chain I'm going to add on. Again, I'm going to close it. Okay, so there we have the bottom, and I'm going to stand up and kind of show you how it will look because it's so big, and it's also very fragile, so be very careful. But when you're done, it's going to look like this. Goes all the way down to the ground. There we go. Okay. So it's pretty long. I can't even hold it up all the way, but there we go. And ideally, you would want to put this somewhere like it's to replace a downspout. Most of us have downspouts on our houses, but maybe if you have, it's a little loud. If you have a covered patio that maybe doesn't have a downspout, you could put it there, or you could just use it for decoration. But it is super cool. I hope you guys enjoy making them. And again, I just stress you just need to take your time. The chain can be frustrating to get open and closed, but just take your time, and you should have enough chain that you can spare a few of those links that you open to toss, and then it'll be a lot easier than having to open and close them again. So I think that's it. I hope you enjoy it. Again, don't forget to seal it before you put it outside so that your paint stays on your pots. And thank you guys for joining me. Next month, we're making garden markers. So we're making garden markers out of paint sticks. They're going to be really cute. So that is the second Wednesday of May. Kits will be available the week before, the Wednesday before. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope to see you next month as well. Have a great day and happy crafting.